The Ethiopian government has put an end to freedom flights. The Falashas are trapped. Nevertheless, many attempt to escape.
I knew that if they caught me, they would make me suffer. They had announced a new law. Whoever attempts to escape will be killed. I was not sure what they would do to me. I thought that if they caught me, they would torture and kill me.
The 1977 airlift was the only official emigration negotiated to bring Falashas from Ethiopia to Israel. These are the Black Jews of Ethiopia. 3,000 have made it to Israel by diverse and dangerous routes. Each has a story of persecution and flight. Many have endured torture and the loss of family and friends. At the Western Wall in Jerusalem, they celebrate the return from Babylon. This ancient ceremony, lost to the rest of the Jewish world, is called Seged. This unique community and its supporters charge that Israel and the world Jewish community watch in silence while Falashas die. Israel denies this. Many call the denials a cover-up.
I think the leadership of world Jewry is involved in this cover-up. Either they are not being told or they are told and do not want to indicate that they know. And if we remember in the Holocaust, the excuse was that we did not know, how could we do anything? Well, now they do know. We send return receipt letters with all kinds of documents. So we know that our leadership knows today, so there's no excuse for them not doing anything. And history will record this.
You telling me that after the Holocaust there's a quota on bringing these people to Israel?
Yes, I think there's no question that there's a quota. There is a quota on bringing them into Israel, and that is a quota that is a policy of the government of Israel and the politicians, and they are keeping a secret from the rest of the world Jewish community, and it's a disgrace.
Absolutely, unequivocally no. The story of my legal occupation is such that I always have to find motivation for such a dastardly charge. I can find none with respect to the American Jewish community, and I can find none with respect to the Israeli government.
In my own visit to Ethiopia in 1965, when I went to the village of Ambober, some 30 Kohanim came to that synagogue and gave me a letter addressed to the President of Israel begging to be lifted on the wings of eagles like their co-religionists across the Red Sea in Yemen. As quickly as possible, otherwise they faced extinction. And it was signed in Isaiah's phrase, the remnants of Israel.
Falasha origins are shrouded in mystery. No one knows how Jews first got to Ethiopia. Some say that Israelites fled to Africa after the destruction of the first temple in 587 BC. Others believe that their ancestors were Egyptian or Yemenite Jews. The most popular legend recounts how, in the 10th century BC, the Ethiopian queen Sheba, ruler of the ancient kingdom of Cush, upon hearing of the wisdom of Solomon, traveled to the land of Israel. Legend has it that after seeing the queen's beauty, Solomon tricked the Black Queen into spending the night with him. The queen returned to Ethiopia, where she gave birth to Solomon's son, Menelik I. When the young prince was old enough, he traveled to Israel and was united with his father. He returned to Ethiopia to firmly establish Judaism in his mother's kingdom. Whatever their origin, Jews have lived in Ethiopia for over 2 millennia. They practice a literal, pre-Talmudic Judaism, strictly observing the laws of Deuteronomy, including circumcision, the Sabbath, holidays, and dietary laws. For over 1,000 years, they ruled most of Ethiopia, preserving their independence longer than the ancient kingdoms of Israel. Their golden age came to an end. In the 17th century, they were defeated by Christians and given a choice: to convert or forever be falasha, exiles. The Jews resisted. Many were killed. Others were forcibly converted. All lost their land. For centuries, they lived as tenant farmers, maligned as evil eyes, and restricted to outcast occupations such as metalworking. The isolated falashas believed they were the last remaining Jews on earth. This archival film was shot by American author Meyer Levin during the reign of Haile Selassie, Lion of Judah, King of Kings, who ruled over feudal Ethiopia for 49 years. Selassie did not change their second-class status. They were, however, free to practice their religion. Each village had its own synagogue. This synagogue is now padlocked. September 1974. Selassie is overthrown. Tanks are stationed outside the palace. The emperor is spirited away in this blue Volkswagen. The revolution precipitated bloody conflicts all over Ethiopia and created over 1 million refugees. Secessionist movements sprang up everywhere. War erupted between Ethiopia and Somalia over disputed territory. Fighting continues to take place in Eritrea, where Arab-backed guerrillas struggle for independence. The new military junta is called the Derg, or the Committee. From 1977 to 1979, during the campaign of Red Terror, over 15,000 were killed. Jails were crammed with more than 100,000 political prisoners. The new regime was bolstered by 25,000 Cuban troops and over $3 billion in Soviet military aid. Deeply indebted, Ethiopia's new leader, Lieutenant Colonel Mengistu Haile Mariam, propelled Ethiopia into the Soviet bloc. By the fall of 1982, when we surreptitiously shot this film in Ethiopia, the Derg controlled most of the country. Mengistu is seen here reviewing the elite of Africa's largest army with Yugoslavia's president, Peter Stambolic. Under the watchful eye of the ever-present Soviet advisors, Mengistu is attempting to portray a new, less bloody image. Yet violence is the hallmark of his own climb to the top. 1974, the top 60 officials of the old regime executed. General Aman Andom, a potential rival,